One of the things that I think all of us might like, would be certainty about our future. It can be very, very disconcerting not to know where the future lies, where the future might take us. When we think of certainty about the future, I'd like to suggest that a group of people that we need to think about very carefully are those who come to the United Kingdom seeking asylum. They can come to us by a variety of means, sometimes very dangerous means. Very often they come to us because they've done no more in the countries from which they've come than speak out against injustice and political unfairness. All of us, I'm sure, are familiar with the plight of refugees. It's vital that a country that prides itself upon its moral standards, a country such as our own, should be a place of welcome rather than a place of cynicism, a place where people can believe that what they have to say will be heard fairly and that they will be treated justly. And yet, too often we hear stories about people who come to us having fled from all manner of problems and potential persecution, being treated with a huge degree of cynicism, a huge degree of disbelief that their stories are just not taken seriously. We've also heard of instances where, even if the stories are taken seriously, people such as those I've spoken about are kept waiting for really unjustified periods of time while their applications for asylum are dealt with or considered. Just before Christmas, I became aware of a dreadful story about a young man who had come to the United Kingdom having fled the Democratic Republic of Congo. We had to flee for no reason other than he'd been speaking out against injustice to families and to children. He'd come and was taken from his bed at 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 days before Christmas, taken to a detention centre near Gatwick Airport, and was the subject of an order for removal. Fortunately for this young man, because of public pressure, that order for removal was not enforced, and he's currently back in familiar surroundings. But I think there are many around who are less fortunate, whose lives remain on the line, who remain fearful, separated from families, separated from friends, sometimes unable to work, and yet they want to work because they want to contribute to the society which has welcomed them. I would wish to urge all those who have influence in such matters to look upon these people as human beings and not just as statistics, to try and reflect upon just how draining, how spiritually and physically exhausting it can be not to know where your future lies, and to feel, frankly, like an alien rather than somebody who is made to feel welcome and whose problems are understood. If you have any influence, if you feel that you could write to your Member of Parliament or anybody else with whom you have contact and who has influence, I'd urge you to do so, because this country needs to be able to look itself in the eye and see itself as a place where those who are persecuted, where those who are fearful, where those who are desperately frightened can be welcome and be treated with dignity and justice and compassion.